Okay, I think we're live.
We're live? Oh, no.
Your bet
live,
share.
Live with the bet share.
Yeah. And okay, we're not on there, but
Soon. Just get rid of that. Then we'll be on there.
all right.
There we are.
All right.
I feel like the windows are brighter.
Yeah.
Did they get washed?
I don't know. Not me. Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. It's good to be back.
Turfway.
Yeah. I guess they ran last Wednesday for a little bit.
And Thursday, and then froze out for the weekend.
Seems like longer, though.
Yeah. I know. I'm sure everybody's ready to get back. I wonder if the pool sizes will be up. Fields aren't that big in the early.
Yeah. I guess it depends on how many tapped out at Tampa. The Tampa tap out.
The Tampa pick 5.
I didn't tap out, but I lost.
Oh, yeah, same. I got 4. I guess it doesn't really work.
Not there.
Not there.
Turfway. You'd be flush.
Exactly. So, all right, cool. Thanks for everybody for joining us. Got some good races, and I don't know about you. I'm curious to see with all the rain. So it's been raining all day here in Louisville, where we are at Horse Racing Nation headquarters. So with Turfway just up the road, check their weather. Usually don't even have to, but they've been getting rain all day. Kind of slowing down later here as we get closer to post time. But, sometimes with the synthetic, it speeds it up with the water.
Yeah, I actually did not uploaded a few different things for us to talk about throughout the night. And I actually did not upload any of the track trend stuff just because I thought time off, cold weather, snow. There was snow, then warmed up, but now lots of rain. I just kind of thought, I'm normally not let's see how the track plays the first few races, jumping to conclusions. But after all that, I want to see. And there's nothing I was going to see in the track trends tool that I would have applied to the first few races. Yeah. So
if anybody had an angle for snow off, rain on, I would think you would. But
I actually asked one of our data guys about getting temperature. I mean, whether it be certain sires or jockeys, and unfortunately, temperature is not something in the Equibase charts, which surprised me.
We're actually going to add it. We found out how to add it.
Okay.
But,
And the impetus for that actually was, I don't know if you remember the Miami-Kansas City game.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you remember it, but there was a lot of talk about the team's records in cold weather. And that made me think, are certain jockeys better in cold weather, sires? Maybe not.Maybe it doesn't matter, but data will tell you. But won't tell us just yet.
All right, fair enough. So anything before I ask anything stands out to you, the early pick 5, I thought, as always, the peg leg, the middle race in race 5, in the end of the first pick 5, the beginning of the second pick 5. That's a tough race, unless you really love the Brad Cox. Where did you land?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't love the Brad Cox. I did use on my ticket, as we'll see, I'm only 3 deep. Sometimes, I think the conventional wisdom, maybe not use big favorites you don't love. But at Turfway, I just feel like, if I hit some of these 6 or 8 to 1s, it's going to work out. It's not like you're dealing with 6 and 7 horse fields. And the favorite can still stump you. So I did use, but I think 2 others in the race likely are going to be better bets come race time. So in that final leg of this pick 5, I used 4, 6, and 10. But I fully expect the 4 or 10 to be the value play for win bettors. An interesting note on that peg leg you mentioned, starting tomorrow, 10 races.
Oh, right.
So it's
there we go.
Half and half.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if they added a middle pick 4. If they did, that would encompass both pick 5, but otherwise it'll just be the pick 6 that goes over both.
Yeah. I mean, they're just so hard to hit here. And obviously, if you can pick race 5 right, you can end up hitting both, but that's pretty rare. So it's like, I'd rather have them split. All right. I have something spicy for you in race 5.
Okay.
What about the Marcus O'Donnell, Jim McInvale, the 3, NZ? Very fast closer. A lot of the closing times have been winning. Best closers have been winning. The question is, like we said, the track, the rain. What's the track like tonight? And the Brad Cox horse, if they straighten that horse out with blinkers off, does it do better routing second time? He's obviously always, very strong second time out.
And one of the reasons I ended up using the Brad, even though I was a little nervous about, is this horse going to be a huge underlay if it takes more money than even the morning line indicates. On Timeform US, it had a pretty clear pace advantage.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to get to the 5th race and see that Speed is doing really well and not have a horse like that. And it'll be interesting because the 2 horses I thought could make the lead in the early double, I didn't give much of a chance to. So I'm eager to see how they run. That based on the pace projector, there should be no reason they're at least not on the front end. Now, how long they stick around and who's with them is obviously going to.
So race 2, I think you're talking about the 4 horse.
Yep.
Yeah. And I'm like, do I add it as a B? Do I not add it?
Right.
I'm like waffling. Currently, I have it as a B. Haven't punched the ticket yet.
I didn't use as a B. I saw Scott pick 4th. So, yeah, I mean, by no means impossible even before I saw the pace. But if we get a gate to wire or even a front running type effort in the opener, you have to upgrade the 4. And I mean, I won't have on my pick 5, but the pick 4 starts.
I did like some of the others in the sequence, so I thought, I don't want to be shut out if I'm right about the other opinions. I don't want to get wired on a speed track that's like I said, sped up with the rain and the water.
Right.
So I did do right now I have a small B on 4, and then race 1, I was 2.56, and 6 was the speed that I was throwing in. I thought that was one that was a little different. It was a little longer. Maybe had a chance to run a better race today, and it might be left completely alone. So I wanted to cover that one. Where did you end up race 1?
I have 2.589, so no 6 for me. Who Timeform has the 1, but that horse is actually only 11-1. I mean, to me, it was a complete bomb. So I
don't like that horse at all.
Ladle, you think Ladle would give you a scoop?
Oh, no. Ladle's 6-1. Very nice. I like that.
Now, you said you'd get my joke,
see, it already went over my head. 0 for 1. Your dad jokes?
Yep.
Yeah. So, no, I mean, I thought the 2 looked pretty good here, and I was using the 5, and then I thought the 6 was just one of those horses that I thought deserved another chance routing, and we'll see what it can do.
Yeah. No, I kind of planted my flag on the 4 I like best to start things off. I would say, I guess the 6 concerns me most. At this price, though, I think 7-2 on Nurse Carolyn, the 5 is very fair.
That's fair. Yeah. All right. Remind me again who your top ones?
5 on top, but I used 2.589.
Okay.
Which we can.
Yes, yeah,
we can throw that up.
Throw the grid up. All right.
I do have the grid too.
Grid it up.
Which the 8 is the 8 is a B technically, and I guess I missed deleting that. But because I did the bet share, and the bet share only allows for now 1 ticket. I put all the horses I used in the A column. Because it wouldn't make sense. Like, you use this B on your ticket, but not this one. So that's the scoop there. And basically the B column for races 2, 3, and 4 at this point now is sort of just a de facto, they're letting this horse go off at 30-1. What can I do with it? So they're not horses I'm excited about betting necessarily, but they're on my mind enough that if they get completely overlooked, then I'll know, okay, hey, what can I do with them, even though they're not on my ticket? So the A column is my stronger opinions, and the A column is the pick 5 ticket.
How do we do picture in picture where we can see ourselves? It's all grid right now.
Yeah, all grid all the time.
Yeah, but
we'll take that away
I speak ed grid, so I'm with you. But no, that's good to explain it.
Yeah, and people saw it. So
it's helpful to see the ones that it's sort of like your range of outcomes, right? The ones that are possible and tiered and all that.
Yeah, and then even in the moment, in the A column, if I have 3 or 4 horses and one of them is odds on, then that's an instance. If I don't like other prices, I'll lop off the odds on.
Right.
But sometimes I'm trying to get to a $20 horse, and then I want all my A's. So it
fair enough. Yeah.
It varies. But as for this, it was pretty straightforward for me. Those were the 4 I wanted. So those were the 4 I used. But certainly on my figures of all the ones not, the 6 is the one I'm concerned about.
Okay.
And Hot Rod is on the 6 as well.
All right. Well, Turfway is, as we've seen, I mean, it rarely disappoints. It's
No.
always it's always interesting, always a challenge, and I think the late could be interesting as well. We've got a little bit more pace in the late.
I'm just pulling up the video on my side so I don't have to look over your
Double
shoulder.
the video. Okay, makes sense. Yeah, so I'm gonna punch away, get my pick 5 in here. I'm gonna use that speed as backup. Yeah, it just sometimes they just leave horses alone, and sometimes it's a little inexplicable. But these fields aren't that big, too. I think that's one issue with the early is, I think we could see closers like we've seen in 4 out of 5 races, for example. But like there'll just be one race where they'll just let somebody go early, and that's a good way to get knocked out.
Who picked up the mounts for Ramos?
I didn't see. I looked earlier, and my ADW hadn't updated it.
Same.
When's the first mount named for him? Race 4 or 5, I think it was.
That sounds right. Oh, he was on the 10 and the 5th. I know that much.
Okay.
Because I used the 10 and was kind of curious how that may or may not shake out.
All right, so I'm loading. Yeah, let's get the video going. The 2 I thought looked fairly strong here, but and like you said, the 5's got a good shot, and then the 8 and 9, like you were talking about, have a shot as well. So yeah, like it's really about seeing how this track's going to play this first race.
Yeah, and it's a type of race that not necessarily ironclad. That means it's how it's going to play the rest of the day. But
no,
I would say if the pace projector is correct and the one is alone on the lead and is able to take these all the way, that would portend in my mind.
All right, we got about 100,000 in the pool. Couple minutes to go, and I always like it when they give you an extra minute or two at Turfway of all places, because it's so hard to put these tickets together.
Right.
I mean, there's just so many combinations, and then you get like way over your budget, so you got to bring it back down, right?
And it's which is not as much a factor in these first 2, but especially if it's a maiden with first time starters, which the one scratched out of here, but you're looking at the double wheel pays and that factors and your ultimate construction. So
yeah. So, and you see Rodney's asking if the 1 or the 7 is an A for you in race 9. Oh, you got that. Okay.
I'll let them know.
All right.
Yeah. Always appreciate the comments. Keep them coming. So Charles B, he's on the 1. He keyed in a box with my logical 4.
Exacta try super key. I love it. That's like confidence. That's,
I mean, put
and a 10-1.
Wheel it up. And then Rodney's 2689. So 289 popular in the chat, and then people peppering in some other horses with it.
All right. The big field of 7 here to start us off. It doesn't look like it's raining there now. Maybe it's cooled off for the night. Check the old radar.
Yeah, it doesn't look it.
It's no weather says they've got like 50% chance of rain every hour here, so maybe it's just kind of in and out. Or it's been they look a little wet.
Well, I'm sure compared to last Wednesday, at least temperature wise, it feels good.
Oh yeah, no, it's great. Although it's just a lot of rain. I took the dog out and he like turned around after a couple houses and he's like, oh, let's go back in. This sucks.
Irene's back. First, who am I thinking of? She's not back because she said it's her first time.
All right.
But welcome. Yeah. Candace is with you on the 6.
All right. I'm more to the 2, but I want to see. Yeah, I think the 6 can hang on for a while. All right, we're about ready to go here. And I'm just going to turn off the video for the race since we don't have officially the rights, even though we're partnered with Turfway, which is kind of odd. But all right, good luck, everybody. in the first, and looks like the 1/6 are
As,
sort of battling.
Yeah, I guess battling was not on the projector, but
Yeah.
these were definitely the two.
So I would say that's probably, we'll see how the track plays, but that's probably the end of the 1/6. But being up by 5 or 6
There
lengths,
is quite a separation now.
they're sub 24, 23.86. They're up by 6 lengths. Typical Turfway, that's not a good sign.
No, the dueling just, for whatever reason, like they could be going 25 and
Right.
you'd still say.
So we got Luan Machado on the 2 on the inside, and then looks like the 7 or the 8 is with them. All right, the 2's coming with a head of steam, and the 5's from Nurse Carolyn is following. So my 6 hit anchor is done, and looks like Machado's
at this point, I'm
too,
supremely confident of advancing
with the 2-5. Yeah,
but wouldn't mind obviously getting the bigger price of the 2. But I think that no, maybe no.
Oh, here's the 9 though. This 9's got run. You might be in good shape with the 9. Well, 5's got a lot of fight. All right, so 2 moved too early. That's interesting. Is he going to come back? Oh, he's coming back. Wow, Machado coming back with the 2.
Who's on the 5?
The 5 was Declan Carroll. Yeah. Although, well, what didn't finish well?
I mean, he galloped out in front. Just out finished. I don't know what other.
Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. I mean, I thought, as we were talking, I thought Machado had a ton of horse on the 2. Then he might have moved too soon because the 5's going by him.
I mean, he won comfortably by a half length, it turned out.
Sure. That's
I'll take the advance.
That's a head scratch.
As someone who's done plenty of bet shares, the Bluebirds don't like losing in the first leg.
No, for sure. I mean,
even if the optimal play is having to leave off very logical contenders, people like to march on.
Oh no, without a doubt, you don't want to miss the first, and that was a good outcome for me. I was 2-5-6, so that was my best. I kind of played it extra with the 2. Let's see, and the 9 was coming. It looked like it had a shot. So I don't know how do we judge the track off that? I mean, the 1 and 6 dueled. The 6 was nowhere. The 1 finished 4th. I would say if the track was as closing as it had been, I thought that 9 looping would have gone by,
right,
or made a closer run to the 2-5
inside.
I don't know. You mean, is the inside good? It just
could be. The 6 bottomed out and the 1 sort of stuck around.
Yeah, we did have a track that I know some people swore that the inside was good. It seemed like it. The inside posts have been good this meet in general, but I think a couple of the weeks they were a little better than the rest of the meet. All right, Rose Darling. So if you got the 2, you advanced. Let's see if anybody
top pick for Shap.
All right. Yeah, Scott does a great job.
Yeah.
All right. Ian says, I selected the 8 for this race. What do you think? Well, not so much anymore, but yeah, Rodney, 1 down, 4 to go. 2591. We've got it up on the screen. And yeah, sign up for the Twin Spires ADW. That's a good option. And get your Ed pick 5.
Right.
Pick 5 or pick
not
4?
Today. I did the pick 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're off and running.
Awesome. All right.
Yeah. BetShare is a great tool. And, all the ADWs have various things that you might prefer over the others. And for me, for sure, with Twin Spires, the BetShare is a lot of fun.
Yeah. It's a fun thing to do with friends. And
I've even done it with enemies.
That's true. Let them buy some of your ticket. Nice.
Lots of utility.
There you go. Unofficial still. All right. Well, so that doesn't really, one race doesn't tell us enough, but
yeah, it was I guess if either either the 1 or 6 had gone on with it,
we would.
we would
But they
know.
won, so let's see, 23, 86, 48, 47, and 84. So they're south of 48. But so then they slowed it down. So they went 48 to the half roughly, and then about 115. So this is 27 seconds in the.
Gave the two a breather.
Yeah, I mean, I think gave them all a breather,
Right.
and that's why the 9 didn't. The 9 must have been a mile back. So and so another one for the leading rider.
He's and interesting you say that. He absolutely is the leading rider, but Geraldo Corrales, who had, I thought, a really slow start. So we've talked a lot on the stream, leading riders and things like that. So I just looked at this year, 2024, which technically is a new meeting, but
6 to 8. Oh no, we're 10 days in.
I mean, it's not that new, but it still at least shows maybe who's hot. And Corrales,
All right,
50% impact this year at Turfway. Axeman Juan Machado, which is funny because there's an Axel at Turfway, but the Axeman is Juan. I've seen FBG call Axel the shortstop. I'm guessing after Dave Concepcion.
Yeah.
I thought, I mean, he wins races, and riding for Cox helps, obviously. He's lost his bug, and the impact, despite 7 wins, pretty low. So he is bet. And then Burgos, to me, is definitely one of those. And Yamari Correas isn't on here. She'd probably be the other one. But, maybe not a gaudy win percentage, although Burgos has had a good year, but definitely on the impact. He's a name I recognize even if you dial it back to November. So
And Adam Bishiz has been riding really well, I think, the last couple of weeks. I mean, look at that 22% win percentage plus 79% impact. And again, the impact, it's kind of like a ROI, but we think it's a better number. It tells you a little bit bigger story. And, for example, like in Bishiza, where 6 to 27, an ROI number would only measure what those 6 paid, but the impact actually measures those 27 starts and basically says how many should he have won. So with it plus 79, basically it's saying he should have won about 3.5 races and he won 6. So you're getting about twice as many winners for the same price.
It's a good number.
Yeah.
And be remiss if we didn't at least touch on the trainers, since I did jockeys.
All right.
And one of Biscuits' main guys getting a leg up from is John Ennis, who's having a great meet. So yeah, he's expected to win 3 of those 11, and he won 6 based on that huge impact. And
very
obviously the win percentage is pretty stout as well. But I'll bunch with 3. Good to see the variety in both the trainer and jockey standings. But yeah, John doing very well.
If you're hitting at 55%, that's good in about any sport other than free throw shooting, or I mean, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Or any of the major sports. Not much. I mean, that's pretty strong.
I don't even know what a NFL quarterback's completion percentage is.
It would be
typically
north of 55. Yeah.
Okay.
More in the 6. The bad ones, maybe not for the Browns.
No,
Although Flacco was, he was
right.
good for like a 26 out of 46. But even that's a little higher.
INTs though.
Yeah. Well, they guys throw them to the other team.
Right.
They're caught too. They're completed wrongly. No, those are great stats. And that's what we're all about. We got all kinds of good stats, right?
Right. Yeah. More to come, even, I'd say.
Yeah. Cool. And then on the synthetic stats, there wasn't like a ton that really jumped out on actually I do want to pull one up though. The on the Sire stats for tonight, the one I keep laughing at, I like to ask you because you love all these numbers, is what number is meaningful. So if we're talking about, here's Turfway race 4, let me pull this up on the share, is when a Sire is 0 for 10 or 20, do you take that seriously? But then at some point 0 for 30 is a big number. So race 4, The 3-horse Majestic, so the Sire Majestic Harbor, 0 for 29 with a synthetic route. And, that's a pretty big number.
Not good. I mean, I'm always my thought is one is the jump from 0 to 1 is the biggest jump. Like once you've shown you can do it, then at least there's a tap in. Whereas that 0 to me, like, and there's a 0 for 9 on there, so that we actually see maybe kind of both sample sizes. Obviously, 0 for 9 is not, especially Harry's Holiday. No disrespect, but it's not a name that jumps out to you like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Not that Majestic Harbor is either, but when you start, to me, I guess 20 is when you just say, okay, they haven't done it yet. I need to see it. And it's 6 to 1 morning line, no less.
Right. And this is a horse, I mean, I thought a lot about using, ultimately did not use, but he's kind of I don't know, you want to call it, he's a little bit game, but a little bit of a hanger. He's in there a lot with some seconds and thirds. So he is getting bet, like you said, 6 to 1, and it may get, may go off a lot lower than that. So I thought that was interesting. And, I think he's a good enough sire that, eventually they will win on synthetic routes, but it's like, do you want to, it's tough, right? Because you don't want to like blow a whole ticket throwing out a horse just because of a stat like that. But at the same time, the stat's there for a reason, right?
And I'm looking this up to be sure.
On the old Google
machine. No.
All right. Well, I'm going to jump to race 2 here while we're talking.
Yes, he's in California.
So those are Golden Gate,
and they have a synthetic surface. Like it's not like he's in Florida, and they have synthetic now at Gulfstream, but. Let's say New York, where
so he's in Northern California. Looks like it.
Wherever Harris Farms is.
Or middle, but
if they were in New York, you'd say okay, the ones that couldn't make it in the New York bred program and they got claimed and now they're here. But like he has progeny eligible for restricted races, and they have not won. So that's an even, you dig a little deeper and it's like, that's not too great.
Yeah, that's a lot of tickets torn up. So this was race 2 since we were jumping ahead to race 4. But the race here, just pulling up our sire stats, pretty even across the board. A lot of 11 to 14%. The 7's a little bit low and the 8's a little higher than the rest, but I don't think it's, so a lot of times it shouldn't really influence your betting too much.
None. And I definitely try to marry the win percentage and impact when looking at this. I think if you have, let's say 8%, which isn't great, that's below average, and the impact is still terrible, like then that tells you, okay, they were actually expected to win some races. Whereas, if you see an 8-10% win percentage and the impact is marginal either way. I mean, I'm not getting excited at that 1% even if the impact's positive, but if it's around 0, then you just, okay, that is what they are. And you can take the horse at its merits. But similarly, if I see a 20% win percentage, it's like, depending on which trainers have the horses and stuff, that can affect it. So the impact is important there as well. And why it's such a powerful number, because it isn't prone to, especially when dealing, as you saw a lot of those, maybe not tons of big sample sizes, but 2 $20 winners and you're positive ROI.
Right.
And that doesn't tell you anything.
Right. And then just while we're talking about the sire data, so here is our sire moves report and some of the Turfway data for tonight. I don't know that there's a whole lot that stood out for me in the early, in race 3, the 2. So this is kind of how it should work. The Sire Barishnikov synthetic sprints, 0 for 7, so 0%. Not a lot of data, but proven in a synthetic route, only 18 starts, but 17% winners, positive 48% impact. Now, this 2 horse is already raced in synthetic. He just happens to be he's already done a synthetic route, and he ran a decent 4th. So In this case, that this information isn't super critical, but sometimes it's helpful to kind of scan through and see.
Absolutely. No, and certain situations, if I already have a single and feel good about it, I'm less likely to lean on this just because I don't need more information to muddy it. But no, like, let's take race 5, where in my case, I do like the Cox enough that I use, but let's say, man, I don't like this horse at all.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a case where I would not want to get beat by an awesome Sire move.
Yeah.
If, nothing else recommended the horse, and then I look at this, I'm like, man, 20-1, and this is a good move. Like, that's an automatic use.
Yeah. What about this 10 horse in race 6, Brisbane Road? So this horse has not been on synthetic yet. He's been on turf, routing, and sprinting, and dirt. And the West Coast are doing pretty good. Synthetic sprints, 20% winners.
Yeah, no, I liked.
You liked him?
Was one of my 3. So probably beat. I would guess, if fortunate enough to be live at that point, would think that'll be my highest will pay. So
that's in race 6.
Oh, I do like the 10 in race 5.
Oh, okay.
But
that's the Kenny.
In race 6, I picked the 10 second. So
okay, there you go.
I like that one.
Yeah,
well.
I mean the Kenny McPeak in race 5 is 3-1.
Oh, okay.
He fits. But this 10 horse is 10-1, and if it takes like the others West Coast have been sprinting well on synthetic, so that could be a nice play.
And so it is another one where time form has, potentially out there. So
out in the lead.
Yeah, with the positive Sire move, like if it clears and enjoys the surface, and
and those are the ones
keep going.
I'm looking for. Like a 9% winner going to a 20% winner. That's pretty significant. Like your 10 in race 5 going from 22% winners, which is outstanding, to 17% winners, which is pretty outstanding. Not really looking for that impact too much.
And Irene and Rodney have both mentioned all the scratches in race 6.
Yeah.
Is worth noting that does include, I believe, the morning line favorite. So the 10-1 on Brisbane Road, and I like the 3 as well, who I think probably was a higher price on the morning line. Very unlikely to happen, but
Vivid Exposure, the 3. Yeah. Yeah, that's going to change a lot. I mean, I don't know. Did you get the scoop? Wow, the scratches in race 6.
Did not get the scoop.
All right.
They were all early though, so it's not like it was that came around for that race or anything.
Right. All right. Okay, so let's take a look at the odds here. And 12 minutes. So yeah, the 9 figured the kind of be favored here, 9-5 currently. And favored in the double will pays. So figure 9 is favored, and the 4 is the second choice. So
yeah, I mean, I'm a fade on the 4.
I hear you. I didn't like it. I just didn't want to get
at that price. I'm a fade. Yeah, we talked about
knocked
it.
out.
I'm certainly not discouraged by what we saw in the first leg, but by the same token, if he's left alone, it's a totally different ballgame. So,
right, yeah, right. That changes everything. So, let's see if I'll put my picks up.
Yeah,
throw them into the machine here. But yeah, that is a lot of scratches. But 10 races tomorrow. We got big fields tomorrow.
All I know is 10 races.
Okay.
And I believe 10 at fairgrounds as well.
All right. That'll be awesome.
Yeah.
All right. I'm looking for my graphics. All right.
Did you upload it?
I'm about to.
Oh, okay.
But it wants to. All right. There we go. I guess I'm in the right spot. Cool. Here we go. I don't have a background on it though. That's the only problem. So it's gonna block us up. There we go. So Yeah, I was 9-7 here with 6-4 as B's, and my sort of bomber was the 3 in race 5. That was the Marcus O'Donnell,
Yeah.
along with the 4. So
Well, Mattress Max blown up the tote board before at this
Yeah.
meet already.
yeah, so we'll see.
Also, the last leg of a pick 5.
Yeah, that was the nightcap one.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, that was a. I'm sure there were a lot of pissed off people when a 25-1 came flying to get him. You know, it's great when you got him, but that's a tough way to lose.
I was mercifully already eliminated.
Oh, yeah, me too. So, I think the 7 is interesting here, and again, the way closers have been running well. I'm interested to see that horse had some good closing numbers, so kind of interested to see how that horse does.
Yeah, 7-1 is square.
And then, like you said, really on the lead. Do the 4 and the 5 go after each other or not? And then kind of how long do they hang around? I think it'd be interesting because I do think the 4 is definitely weaker than some of the other contenders. But does it hang around?
Drifted a little, but yeah, second choice in the doubles. So
Okay.
Probably not going too much higher.
All right. And have you looked at the Pegasus yet?
I have.
Yeah. What do you think?
It's
great fields, right?
The card.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I mean this is
Outstanding.
They basically spun straw into gold. I mean, not that the Don was no slouch by any means, but they turned a $25-30 million day into a $50 million day. So
yeah, pretty cool.
Makes it fun. But yeah, you have the filly and mare, a grade 1 on the turf.
I don't know if it is yet, but it will be.
Yeah, 500,000, and then the $1.3 million.
Right.
But yes.
Yeah, it's a great day. I'm actually heading down Friday. I got a cheap flight from Louisville, which is hard to find.
Yeah,
so
no.
Get right down there.
Got some fair odds going, which
awesome.
I definitely took some criticism. Trademark.
No, you took criticism.
Trademark seems to be the one people disagree on.
Why 50-1?
I mean, it's when I think about how I rank them and where the odds have to be, that you
basically didn't see this horse having much chance.
Correct. Yeah. No, the Ragazin pattern just is not for me.
The pattern, okay.
Now,
the numbers.
Well, when I say that, I'm including the numbers.
Okay.
Like like if it was a specific pattern, like let's say a bounce, I would say that. But yeah, I mean, just I don't think the horse is fast enough, and the pattern doesn't give me optimism that it's going to run its best race.
Right.
So the two combined for me, and when I looked at the race, it's not like I was in love with the horse anyway.
Right.
Otherwise, there's a few in here where I thought maybe would look a little better on the sheets or vice versa, and they're not as much of an outsider.
Add us to the bottom.
I think when you do the profile, that's right. Where you can't.
Okay.
Now, if I shared that as a screen,
that's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
but like Senor Buscador, the way Gulfstream plays, I mean, he's one of those numbers wise, he always fits, but he's gonna need pace, and he was drawn okay. So at 9-1, that might end up being interesting if he gets totally overlooked. And then Skippy, as far as Brisnet goes, he looks. I mean, if Brisnet is what you use and that's all you use, you're wondering why this horse isn't 2-1.
Really?
Yeah. So now post 12, definitely not the most ideal. Ran a stat, graded stakes at Gulfstream, mile and an eighth. The outside post, no matter what it is winless.
The outside post stinks. It's not.
But if you take away graded stakes, so full field maiden stuff like that, post 11 and 12, not as bad. So I don't know. And we're dealing with small sample sizes with graded stakes, so that could just be part of it. But better horses, it seems to be a bigger handicap. Otherwise, I'd probably have around 5-1 or 9-2. But
Yeah.
No, this is great. And I mean, National Treasure is not going to be 9-2. I do think is the most likely winner, but barely. So right there is, there's going to be opportunity because he's going to be 2-1.
Yeah. I just don't see him winning at all.
At all.
Mm-mm.
Like you don't even see he's the most likely winner.
No, I don't care for that horse.
Because grade 1 horses win grade 1 races.
Yeah, I've heard that.
He's the only one.
Really? He's the only one.
The only one.
Yeah, I mean, the Preakness, is that what we're talking about?
We're talking about the Preakness.
We're talking about the Preakness, which, I mean, nothing against National Treasure, but Mage didn't really show up. And
first mission scratched.
Yeah, so we'd have to, let me pull it up here, who we beat. So that would be.
Was the Chad was second.
Yeah, that was a rough finish coming down the stretch.
Yeah.
Blazing 7. See, we can't even name it. Mage was third. Fourth was Red Route 1, who kind of came on later in the year, in the grade 3, grade 2.
Finished second in to Saudi Crown, right?
Yeah.
Just past weekend.
Fifth was our Derby fantasy horse, Chase the Chaos.
Oh.
Good on synthetic, bad on dirt.
Did we get points for fifth?
I think we got like 1 point.
Right, because Preakness, yeah.
Ed and I actually teamed up, and we actually won a Kentucky Derby Triple Crown Fantasy League because we drafted Mage and
National Treasure
and Javier and Javier Castellano was our jock, which was awesome because we were just like we were down to the last jockeys, and we were just like, oh, let's take Castellano.
Worked out.
It did, and that was after Mage had won his maiden, which of course Mage debuted on Pegasus Day last year, and Delgado's got another one on.
It's insane.
Race 2.
There's big buzz for race 2.
Yeah. I think that horse, I said, what's the over-under on the number of times that you'll hear, like on television, people say, Mage won in a maiden race as a first-time starter this day a year ago.
And I, to my bankroll's detriment, I mean, I totally against the whole Apollo thing. And Justify just kind of brushed off as, well, Baffert's a miracle worker, and that's an aberration.
Yeah.
And then Mage, who I definitely was like, yeah, this horse is talented, and I know plenty of smart people who liked, and I was just like, I can't do it. But now, I mean, really at this point, because you throw out the COVID year, 2 of the last 5 winners didn't race it too.
Yeah.
So, and point system has something to do with it, but hey, I mean, that's all part of it.
And I think too, for me, the lesson from last year's Derby, if I hopefully can remember this for future derbies, was when the scratches started coming out, a couple mid-price horses came out, and then Forte came out, and regardless of what you thought of Forte as a Derby horse, as a Derby winner in the trouble, he was clearly at 1 1/8, like one of the best horses in the prep season,
right?
And so when he came out of the race, to have a horse that had kind of run behind him or right next to him kind of made sense. I think it was easy to make the race tougher than it had to be, and then, should we bet the Japanese horses or this or that? I think it just got decimated a little bit with some of the scratches.
Well, I'm sure the Japanese will take money again this year as they are wont to do.
We didn't finish though in the Preakness.
Oh.
There were actually 7 horses in the Preakness.
Chase the Chaos was 5th.
Perform, which was a shug horse that won, I think, like the Tessio.
Right.
Like a Maryland prep. Was 6th. I thought he was disappointed that day. I don't know if he's run since. He ran in the Curlin. He was 5th. And Coffee with Chris, who I think was like a allowance horse.
The local.
And not a bad horse, but not really a graded stakes horse. So I'm not really sure who National Treasure beat that day, but he did run a close race in Breeders' Cup Day.
Yeah, to the likely horse of the year, I'd say.
Yeah. All right, let's go.
Exotic, which that's a fantastic spelling. Kudos there.
Love it.
I just looked at the price on the 8. I didn't have this horse anywhere, and he's 5-1. So I don't know if someone knows more than me, or what was the morning line? 10-1.
Yeah, I've looked at some of the numbers on the 8, and I made a note that he had a number last year that I thought fit here, and I was. Usually I'll go back to those.
Gary P angle.
But it wasn't like, it wasn't a whole lot more. But So he was kind of my last cut. I definitely could see the 8.
When he asked me about the 8, as I was turning in that half a second, I was preparing myself to say, well, I won't talk you off at 15 to 1, but at 5 to 1, my counsel would be pass.
I think he's fine. I think he's okay. Morning line was 10. You know, it's not the toughest field in the world. But good luck, everybody. We're loading the gate, and let's see how this track's playing out.
6, 9 are the 2 I used, and I bet the 6 at this price at 9 to 1. I could not have win money.
I went
now 10 to 1.
I went 9, 7, 6, and then the 4 sheepishly as a B. Threw it in.
Yeah.
So all right,
be on the lead.
Good luck. Should be, but we'll see how things go here. All right.
I wonder if we could get away with at least putting
2
that
to
in the
1
corner.
I didn't see the 4 going down to 2 to 1.
No.
But
typically that money is very sharp, so we'll see.
I think a lot of that computer money that comes late, though, they like speed, and speed wins a lot, but doesn't win every race. I mean, I think one of the races at Tampa, the first leg of the pick 5, they pounded speed, and it was like 9 to 2, and the race breaks, and it's 7 to 2, and then down the backside it's 5 to 2. So
some conspiracy theorists would say they sent it in after they saw the 4 made the lead.
No, I think it was 2 all the way. They were sending anyway. All right, so what did we say?
I'm going to need a last to first blitz to cash my win bet.
51 and 4. Wow. I mean, they don't look like they're crawling, but that field is bunched, and so that is going to change things, because I think it's going to make it tough for anyone to close here. I hope it doesn't put the 5 up, because I didn't use the 5. Yeah, I mean, look at that 9. It looks like the 9's got
the jockey
horse.
on the 4 hasn't moved.
Right.
So.
I mean, I think the 9's got horse. The question is, how much does the 4 have left? So, yeah, this is what I was afraid of. I mean, that's not even a race. 51 and 4. Who's coming on the outside? That's the 10?
Yeah, I mean, that 117 and 1. I don't.
That's about the slowest of the meet, right?
I don't know what we just watched.
Wow, that was shockingly slow. It's yeah. So
I'm gobsmacked. I mean, then the horse galloped out like a freight train, but why wouldn't you? I mean,
yeah. So anyway, that's why I used it as a backup. So I'm glad I did. But sometimes if anyone's new to racing, sometimes people ask about why we're talking about pace. Well, in any race, even if you're just racing outside with your friends or your kids, if you give somebody a big head start and no one's tired, then they just kind of nobody changes places as you finish up. And so so we just talked about the last race. They hit the half mile, and I think it was just under 48 seconds. This was a little under 52 seconds, so 4 seconds slower. And I mean, horse racing, that's an eternity.
I would say the biggest loser in this is the 5.
Yeah, ran terrible to be nowhere.
Couldn't even get past the 4 at any point. Did try, which I'll appreciate that. But to see which obviously they were a big difference in price, but
another winner for Yarmarie Correa. You were talking about her. She's had a really nice meet.
Yeah. No, I mean, I just got that one wrong. And even to the point where I noted that, time form projected that could happen. I can't even say I'm shocked, but that it was that slow that's the surprise, not that the horse won under that condition.
Oh, right. So the 9 was favored in the doubles. The 4 was second choice. So it's a $31 double. For 2. I don't know. So
I would say 15 to 1's not bad for a 9 to 5 and a 2 to 1.
No. Yeah, I think like we're saying,
that
I think that
probably
probably
18. So
that probably took some money at the end. So I don't know that money was really in the double or the pick 3s or the pick 5. You probably didn't pay quite that low. So I mean, another one, it doesn't really tell us, that tells us nothing about the track. I mean, I think that's got to be the slowest half of the meet, right? At 51.86.
I mean,
At a
what
mile
was
16.
that? Was a mile and 16.
I don't know if I have the stats for the whole meet, but I have.
I got it.
Oh, you're gonna pull it up, right?
Where I will have it.
You will have it. All right. Yeah, that
was a mile and a 16th.
Yeah, and then
Stand by.
another, just kind of lesson if you're new, if you're like really wanting to get into the data and learn, is okay. So here we are. Ed's flabbergasted that the 4 wins. I'm talking about how slow they went. Well, what that means is those horses behind were really penalized. So, if you want to make a note on the horses that finished in the back half of the field, the ones
That's a great point.
that made a move and tried to get there, maybe like Ed was saying, when the 5 horse was up there and then failed, that's probably not the one you want. But the 10 that was kind of chasing the 4 home, the 9 kind of spun its wheels in the middle of the race, maybe a couple others, maybe the top, second, third, and fourth horse. Those are horses that can run back. And then the speed figure for this race could get adjusted, but it could end up being really slow and low. So those horses potentially could be nice plays next time out. Where I definitely would play against the 4 next time, because it will never get this easy of a trick. Probably ever in his career. That's no joke, right? I mean, it's like that's.
And I always marvel. And I'm obviously biased, I can acknowledge that, but I played the 6. And they were bunched, so it wasn't like totally strung out. But what are you thinking as a jockey after going 119 for 6 furlongs, which is what the
right.
You know what I'm saying?
I do. Yeah. All right. Well.
Okay.
On to the next page, right?
That's right.
Turn the page. All right. All right. Turfway race 3. Yeah, and these early races weren't that deep. I thought this race, I had 2 and 7 as the top choices, and I thought the 2 looked best here. Then the 7 is sort of my second A. And then I kind of dropped down, and I didn't want to cut the 1, 3, and 4. I used them as Bs just because another race where I thought maybe something goofy would happen, but I did play a lot more of my weight of my ticket on the 2.
I agree, 2-7, and then left the door open to see what the price is on the 6.
All right, live it up.
Live it up. Not living it up after that.
No, the 6. I mean, I guess it just stopped in a sprint last time. So I guess you're thinking this is just a different ball game. I guess it is. I didn't like the 6's races at this distance last year, so I was kind of more on this. I thought the 7 would kind of sit in second, stalk the 6, kind of like they're doing here, where it's 4-5. It would maybe be 6-7, but the 7 would be a much better horse. It could just go by anytime. Whereas I think the 4 and 5 were just kind of both weak. And the 5 just faded.
Faded bad.
Yeah, and you called it. I mean, she hadn't used any horse at all on that 4.
Right. That was. I always say that, like, I mean, we play the races, and I mean, I knew 20 seconds into a 90, however long it took, a minute and 45 seconds.
We're with you.
That I was not going to win, right?
Yeah.
The older off you lose.
Yeah. She did a nice job, too. Look how the 5's coming, ranging up around the 4 right here. And she just sat chilly, didn't use the horse at all, like you said. And then the 5 just drops away, really.
Right.
And that's go time. And
yeah, then, I mean, maybe the 9 looked for a split, but
it didn't matter. Like she has the 4 and opened up 3 links, and that was that. So, yeah, nice ride. All right, and we're talking about Luan Machado. He's on the 7 here. am I talking about? All right, so we talked about Pegasus. Do you have fair odds for the turf race too? Or not yet?
I do, but I'm obsessed with finding this fraction
All right.
thing.
It's going down the rabbit hole.
I pulled up the wrong query.
On querying the turfway times for the meet, which is good. We're going to get an answer here.
That's right.
All right. So, yes, this race I was 2.7 over 134, which is probably admittedly too wide. And I kind of came back and played it again with the 2 as a single because I thought the 2 did stand out a little bit over the field. Race 4, I like the 8 the best, Sailor's Chance. Watched the replay. The horse went wide and basically circled the field and then still outclosed. I think it's Broken Justice, the 7 horse that finished 4th in that race. And I was still going to use some of those horses as Bs in case something happened tripwise. So I was 8 over 137 in race 4. And then in race 5, like the 4 the best, Janie Creed. I ran a nice race last time. It's going to use the 3 as a big price, NZ, and reluctantly using the Brad Cox, the 6 at 2-1 morning line. And then I threw in as a price the number 9.
So I don't know what happened on December 29th, 2022, but there was a race with a 118.
But you had to go back 2 years for that.
And other than that,
Year and a half.
There's none. That's the slowest, and none other slower than 117.
All right. There you go.
So that's the second time in the last 9 years.
Oh,
the
9 years. Wow.
6 furlong fraction was slower than 117.
At a mile and 16 or any route?
Mile and 16.
Okay. So that's slow. Remarkably slow.
It's slow.
Yeah. All right. Well, maybe it was like snowing that day or something like that, Maybe they had to go through a snowdrift.
I heard we're not too far away from having that information.
Oh, yeah?
That's what you said.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll dig it up.
Weather.
I'm joking. I don't think they ran through snow, but
What was the fraction in the
first race?
No, the 117. And what?
It was no, I'm already forgetting. Yeah, it was about sounds right. I think it was 116.
No, it was 117.
117.
Yeah. I was just wondering what the hundredths were.
All right.
I mean, there's only been 15 slower than 117 in any 2-turn race.
Yeah.
Going back 9 years. So historically slow.
There you go.
But
I think
I don't get my money back for that. So
no,
it's only trivia. I'm not saying it for any other reason.
But I think it tells us more about that race than the track, right? I mean, to me, I don't know that we've learned a ton about.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, that is, as you said, to me, the information to glean from that isn't necessarily what's going to happen here in the 3rd race, but what's going to happen to those horses afterward.
Right.
So the 5 would be a downgrade, the 6 an upgrade.
Yeah. Yes, next time you mean. Got it. Yeah, because the first race, just going back to the first race for a second, we had the 1 and 6 out on the front. They were about 48 seconds to the half. 1 finished 4th, 1 finished up the track. Second race, we have 2 horses. The 4 and 5 go out. They crawl in a historically slow time, and 1 wins impressively. The other finishes nowhere. So hard to say.
That's racing.
Other than, stay tuned and fair track so far. I think,
Well, I think I speak for everyone when I say I'm going to win it back here.
Excellent. On which horse?
Like 2 or 7.
Okay.
I need to figure out how to.
So pick 3 time or
jazz
double?
Well, they're both 5-2, so I think I'll key the 6. So I'll need the 6 in there with the 2 or 7. Would be how I play it, assuming this board stays the same. I did not like the one at all, and I'm not surprised to see that it's drifting from its morning line.
Yeah.
I
I
didn't.
thought the one was really curious. I mean, Sarah Hess is a bug jock up. She won on this horse at 26-1 early in the meet. Um, and then last time it was 45-1 in that, mile and a quarter allowance. So it had no shot. It was kind of up there for a little while. And, I think those mile and a quarter races at Turfway get tricky. I think sometimes they're one on the front and you can't really close. And I don't know, I tend to draw a line through that race. So I kept the sources at B. I just couldn't throw it out. But I sort of expect the two to
For
win.
me, with the 10 furlong races, I think the class is important. I mean, a lot of times they write them, they are made in special, so it's not a claimer, but it's clear the idea is, okay, like trainers have thought well of certain horses. They're not ready to drop them. Let's try them at 10 furlongs. You see it at Churchill too.
It's a
And
desperation move.
at that point, like to me, only 2 or 3 are going to run well anyway and handle the distance. And in that setting, they're going to be out in front. Like a horse well met for that type of race isn't going to close, after a 141 mile.
Yeah.
So
And
it's just something to keep in mind.
so I'll say what you said a different way. So the mile and a quarter races at Turfway and Churchill, for example, I'm skeptical going in and I'm skeptical coming out.
Right.
So and I'm skeptical going in, and to your point, winning on the front works a lot. And I think because there's just not that many mile and a quarter races, other than the Derby, there's not that many at these
Belmont.
Yeah. But it's hard for figure makers to make figures. The field gets strung out, and I think a lot of times these horses have finished 6th, or in this case, this horse 6 by 12. Did they get it at the right figure, or did the horse stop completely and we just need to put a line through it? So I'm just pretty skeptical of that race, and I don't think that means the one needs to win here. It just means like it's sort of nebulous for me.
I think the maiden races, the special weights, especially with the mount now with the long distances, to me are what turf sprints were maybe 15 years ago, where it was just, we've tried everything. But now there's such a robust stakes program, and turf sprints are, such a part of the overnight and condition book. It's not quite that way anymore with those, but to me, the mile and a quarter and the mile and a half maiden turf races, it's just, there's, like you said, not a lot to go in and not much to come out.
But it's fun. They're fun. And
it
mixes things up, and but
I enjoy it. And I mean, I feel they get bet inefficiently. I think they're bizarre enough, for lack of a better word, that
there's opportunity, is what you're saying.
And unfortunately, this is where, like, I'm not a CRW boogeyman, but where I do feel like they've hurt the everyday edge is races like that. Because I think the conventional wisdom is, a mile and a quarter, let me look for whatever pedigree, let me look for a closer because it's a longer race.
Right.
And the retail money is totally wrong.
Right.
But the computers swallow that up like that.
Yeah.
Like you would just have no chance to.
They have the data. It comes through automatically. They don't have to spend 5 minutes digging it up. And
And I don't begrudge the system. I'm not, one of these, like, there's other reasons that I'm not as, maybe a big of a fan, where I think, they've hurt my edge. But that is one instance where it's just, back in the day, the Joe Blow in the Gold Room that bet $250 a year had no idea how to handle that race and would still bet. Whereas now the computer, they just, like you said, have the data.
I think it just makes it tougher. I think for everybody, it's like, you got to spend more time looking at the race. You can't trust the morning lines. You can't trust the board. You got to just really spend more time, buckle it down. And, maybe that means playing less races of something else because you're spending more time on that. So
I do like them, though. I mean, it's fun.
Yeah,
and Derby week, they usually run 3 or 4 because they love to show off that gate and, get the crew used to that configuration and stuff.
Yeah. Charles B says, doesn't look like you want to be coming off the pace tonight. Like we're saying, I think it's still a little bit of an open book, but, it might, if it had to, pick one, sure, that would be probably the one to pick. But these races just they weren't very deep, right? And now we've got another one. We've got 7 horses. Only 1 or 2 are going to go to the front. So I think, that's one danger. We saw it Thursday night. I think out of the first 5 races, first 6 races, maybe there was one closer. And then race 7, they all just went crazy. And we got a 25-1 shot, flying up
right
to win. And, so I think that's still on the table. We'll just have to see. And I think it gets in the jockeys' heads too, right? How can it not? You're sitting in the room for a half hour. There's as we talked about, there's a deep colony. You're not riding every race. There's only 7 jocks riding this race. You watch it. It's another horse on the front winning, and you're like, I need to be up front, right? And so it's like progressively gets a little faster and a little faster until
I'm not too familiar with. I don't even know who all the trainers were in that race, but I can't imagine if Steve Asmussen had just watched one of his horses sit chilly behind a 117 6 furlong, that I don't think that would have been a pleasant conversation for the unsaddling period after the race.
No, it's tough though. Yeah. I mean, obviously we're not up on the horse, so we know how to judge the pace. It didn't look like they were going that slow. Although we were kind of talking about that towards the end. Yeah, you would hope that your jockey could realize that you're going super slow and just make a middle move or something. Try something when you're on a better horse, right? Then,
like you said, they were bunched up. So I mean, nothing is more frustrating than the Naira stretch out, turf races where that's where it's like what you just went 1 minute and 20 seconds for 6 furlongs, like. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Won't be the last time I'm wrong tonight.
Yeah. So Charles is saying, maybe closers have a chance here in baby allowance. It's just such a short field. I mean, I thought the cat and mouse game here is the 6 and the 7 is, with the 7, does Machado let the 6 go? Does he lean on the 6 a little bit? And if he's not, if he doesn't have to use too much horse early, I think the 7 could just go on and win. But if the 6 and 7 battle a lot, then that sets up for the 2 even more. And the 2 is probably the better horse anyway. So it's probably a little bit of the cat and mouse game with the jocks, right?
Right. Well, the 7 will be in front of the 2, right?
Yeah. I was looking at it as 6, maybe a little ahead of the 7, and then the others will just be further back. But 2's got to be pretty far back. So, the way the track's playing, I think, you do have to consider the 6 a little bit more. I did toss the 6, but, we'll see.
Yeah, it's one of those, if the 7 engages like we saw in the first race, then neither one has a chance. But if he sits off and lets the 6 go like we saw last race, that's not ideal either. But timing the move is important. What was the guy's name in Beautiful Mind? Nash?
Yeah.
Need the calculations to figure out when to push the button.
There you go. That's a good movie.
Never seen it.
Really? Russell Crowe? Yeah.
I figured I'd be jealous.
He's a little cuckoo. So
jealous of his beautiful mind.
Yeah.
He had a band?
Yeah. No. Did not know that. That was a good flick. So, all right. So, you're going to recover in the pick 3 here or the double?
I think for this, it's a vertical situation.
Vertical. All right.
Yeah. Like pick 5 wise in the 5th race. Okay. I'm on the logicals. That's one thing. And, horses like the 6 in the last and the 6 here could have blown things up. But pick 3, I just don't know that. I guess the 6 here would be sufficient, but.
All right.
I definitely see the 2 or 7 as having to be in the mix. So
Yeah.
I feel like I have a narrow opinion, and the 6 is the gamble, admittedly, at 9-1, but
Right. How about a double here? These are short though, huh?
not if you hit it 100 times.
All right. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm gonna
The double
fire
with
up
the
the
2.
totalizator.
Oh, the 2.8 is $26. That is not much. It'll probably come down from there. That's 7, and the next is getting played pretty good.
Really?
Yeah.
I was 6-8. I threw in the 4 because it was Shap's long shot, and a couple brisnet numbers look good on it. And then I did use the 7 as well.
7 is the second choice in the doubles currently. So the 8 in race 4 is favored in the double, and then the 7 is second choice. If the 2 wins. If the 7 wins, the 8's still favored, and then it's a little bit more even. So, all right, 16,000 in the pick 3 pool.
Well, that's all right.
And are you a pick 6 shooter, or just depends?
Well, that starts in the 4th, right?
Yeah.
I'll usually, if my A's are less than $10, I'll do the Insanity Insurance lottery ticket.
All right. Cool.
Yeah, but I don't target that bet by any means.
Yeah. I don't usually play the 20-cent ones unless it's mandatory.
And I've just found and Churchill has the friendliest jackpot provision with the way they split it.
Oh, yeah.
But I found, just A, all the time working there, and B, still 2 years later, that the pick 5 is still pretty comparable without Granted, your base is 2.5 times, but if you're 4 deep in a pick 6, well, that's an 80-cent pick 5.
Correct.
So
Yeah,
I do
might as
think
well
of it
just
that
wait.
way, right?
I agree.
Sometimes if I love this horse, I can do a single in the pick 6. If I lose, I'm still comfortable running it back. Like there are occasions that like the pick 6 to me is worth a look, but
right. Yeah, for sure. I think that's the right way to look at it. I look at it the same way. An $80 pick 5, $80 pick 5. You have 4 horses in the first leg of pick 6. Irene said Beam mentioned the winners of the first 3 legs of pick 5 on his podcast. That's nice.
Yeah, including the 20, the big one.
The gas station sushi says the 3 horse looks beautiful. That was my Majestic Harbor fade, the 0 for 29 Sire. But I mean, the horse does kind of fit. So 8-1 too. Let's see. Maybe be a good candidate for second. That's a pretty big price. I don't mind an 0 for. What's the stat on 0 for 29 Sire running second?
Rank second?
Running second.
Oh.
And hitting the exacta, not winning. Yeah, if there's a vertical play, that's what I was getting at. This is a really flat board, though. I mean, nothing longer than 10-1. 2's coming down, 2-1. Oh, I'm messing up. The 3 is a real hero. It's not the Majestic Harbor. That's the next race. 4. But yeah, pretty flat board. Two 2-1s and nothing longer than 10-1. All right.
6 with the 2-7.
All right. I would like the 2 or 7 to advance. I've got some Bs, but maybe I'll play a small double.
You don't like your position with the Bs enough that you'd rather beat the favorites here?
Maybe. Just trying to overcomplicate it. So, yeah. All right, we're going into the gate here. Good luck with everybody with race 3, and Let's try to learn a little bit more about this track here and what we're dealing with. Maybe they'll go a little faster.
Yep, I did.
Will we go a little faster than the old 117?
If the 6 is on the lead alone, I hope not.
All right. The 6 is going for the lead. Who's inside there? The 2.
The 1, right?
I think
No, the 2. You're right.
And they're going slow. I mean, the 2. I think he did a nice job on the 2. Fernando de la Cruz at least getting out and not getting too far behind. But the 7 I thought would be in second is in last. So maybe that leads to another slow pace. But I think that's, you're talking about the trainer and the expectations for the jockey. So, I mean, the 2 with the favorite, he's like, I'm not going to get wired by another, horse on the lead. So he's a little closer here.
Right.
And at a minimum, I think that's going to be the end of the 6.
Yeah, no response.
Yeah. Are they taking rain there? Looks like it might be, but it's hard to tell. So, all right, 2's got some horse. 3, I think, is still in the fight.
7 playing possum.
Playing possum from the back, yeah. Well, I mean, this is going to be interesting. Can the 7 make a dent from way back there? And, how's the rest of the race go? So 24, 91, 49. I think the 7's coming pretty strong. And here's the Sarah Hess horse, Endless, another B that I just didn't want to cut. And there it is. My B's
much the best.
Yeah.
I was totally wrong on that horse.
Is that her second win?
Ever?
Of the meet? No, not ever. No, of the meet. Interesting.
This has been a humbling evening. I gave that horse no chance. Well, I shouldn't say no chance.
There was just another one that I didn't want to toss completely. Like I said, draw a line through the 1.25 mile race, right? That's what I was saying. And I thought that first race, the meet, was interesting enough that put it in the picture here. But I think,
it was 7-2.
Okay, so there we can get a line on the track, right? And because the 6 got out a little bit, they went in 49. They didn't go that fast. The 2, he pressured earlier than he may have wanted with a closer. Really was, I don't know. I mean, he was up there for a while, but I mean, with the way the 1 and the 7 came off it, I think this is pretty fair.
Yeah.
I think you're going to be able to close the rest of the
2
night.
stuck around, I guess. I mean, the 7 wide move just kind of flattened out.
You can kind of go both ways, right? It wasn't that fast, so maybe the 2 should have held on. It wasn't that fast that it really helped the 1 to get up, and it got up impressively. So you can, I think you're going to be able to close, but you could still wire if it's slow.
Right.
All right. We're learning as we go here, right?
That's right. Yes. I mean, I was just wrong. And 7-2 is okay.
Somebody said Lou said 1 looked like a bet down last flash. Yeah, was it maybe a little higher? You were saying it was.
Yeah, I mean the imputed double odds were 9-2.
Okay.
Win took a little bit of money late. Interesting though, in the double going forward, the 1 took the most money late. Mm-hmm. So yeah, there was definitely some late action.
Yep. Well, I burned both of my B's, so now I am singled to the 8 in the next race. So I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I mean, you're on one of the ones. It's always hard to be too confident, but
one of the good horses
in my mind, which depending on how you think of things. Yeah. Although, if I had done a show parlay with my top picks, I'd be live.
There you go.
The old show parlay.
And how often do you do that?
When I was on air, I would do it.
Yeah.
because
That's
I always
cool.
thought that'd make a fun,
Story.
but
Little
I
anecdote.
don't think I ever made it past half the card. But
It's harder than you think.
oh,
right?
it's
Than
yeah.
people realize.
I mean,
yeah.
but for $2, it was something that
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would never do it for. I think Derby Day, I got some money for doing an event, and it was something I wasn't really comfortable taking money for, and they insisted. So I said, "Well, I'll do a parlay for Ronald
group.
McDonald House."
Oh, nice.
Um,
And did you win money for Ronald McDonald House, or did you?
no, I mean, I
Light
would
it on
have had
fire.
to see it through. I think I got through 4 legs, though.
Okay.
It started to get like, oh, maybe this could be.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's always exciting. I mean, show parlays are fun. It's a great group bet. All right, so that's Sarah Hess's second win of the meet,
all right, hey,
and
spreading the love in Florence, y'all.
it's a 7-pound bug, so I guess a double bug. We were talking about this. Is that before you've won 10 races overall?
Or there's also
Another one?
a calendar
Okay.
component if you haven't won. But yeah, I don't know what her situation would be.
Briss says last year and this year, 4% winners on 113 mounts. So that's by 4 wins. So this would be number 5. So,
All right.
well, it's good. Good for everybody that had that. All right. Yep. We're just talking about
Sounds
the
like
bets.
Charles did okay.
Good. Yeah.
I saw Cherry drink in there. I'm sure he had the super.
He said wolf. I don't think that means super. Yeah. He was on.
I didn't see the wolf.
Um,
Although I've gotten a wolf when he knows my opinion stunk. So
okay.
maybe that was.
No, I think he was trying. I think he might have been talking about that 6.
No, okay. Yeah. We went down together.
All right. Down with the ship. All right. So my 8 horses, 5-1. Haskell. That's kind of a good name.
I like that name.
Who got Haskelled? I guess it depends what year.
Eddie.
There you go. Very nice. Let's see. That does not seem like that's a win price that's gonna. It seems fake.
Yeah, Haskell's double odds are 5-1.
Okay. Who's favored in the double?
Sailor's Chance. You're single.
Okay, and he's what price? Oh yes,
5-2.
5-2. Okay, all right. So I need to get the 8 to move on. Edgar Morales. So this was a Joe Ramos horse, right? I think.
Was he one of the?
I can't remember. Because nowadays, like everything seems to update. Like the ADWs update. Let's see. Bristol had it. Let's see.
Yeah. PDF don't change.
The PDF does not. Yeah, Joe Ramos. So
Okay.
have you heard anything more? I guess he's still, or he's doing better.
Sounds positive.
Yeah.
As far
Do
as
you want to
those things
explain
go.
for everyone?
Yeah. So it was, Saturday?
Sounds right.
Guessing with the time off, decided to take a trip home to Puerto Rico. Was involved in a motorcycle accident. Definitely didn't sound great.
Yeah.
Saturday night, intensive care. But as well as you could hope at this point.
Yeah.
I believe he's out of intensive care, so it's great news. And
yeah, we wish him the best. So
Absolutely.
Joe Ramos
Yeah, he's
he's a good young rider, and
won the horseshoe title.
I was gonna say he did great
Yeah.
at Indy this summer, and had a really good meet last year at Turfway. And I think there's just a deeper colony this year, so he hasn't done quite as well at the meet this year, but definitely a very capable rider. So.
No, I've been. I shouldn't say I've been. I'm sure he's been disappointed as well with his numbers at Turfway. I was looking forward to.
He didn't make your top 10.
And I was looking forward to playing him this meet, and he was one early on. I'd upgrade his horses for sure, and the wins just weren't coming. But he's too good. If assuming a recovery, he'll be back to winning races.
Yeah. All right. Do we see anything to this 6 to be 7-5, or is it just somebody put money early?
Someone. I'll leave it to Beaver fan.
Could be. Yeah, so the horse has 34% of the win pool, but only 20% of the place pool and 8% of the show pool. So it looks like somebody put
14% of the exacta pool.
Yeah, so it looks like somebody put 1,500 to win on this horse and nothing else. Yeah. What percent of the exacta pool?
Yeah, 14.
That's a little more than no, that's about the same. Yeah.
That's in line with his double.
Okay.
Yeah, no, obviously the win pool's stout.
Stout. And all right, so if we look at the doubles,
he is my pick.
If we were to play Brad Cox's horse in the next, the 6, the double, the 8 here to the 6 is paying $15
for two.
For two, so not much. Just to kind of put it in perspective, yeah. Can you see the odds on from the double in the next race in terms of win odds?
The next race?
Yeah. It looks like, I'm just looking to see who. It looks like the 4 would be the second choice.
Yep, 6, 4, 10, 1.
Okay.
6 is it's probably like 8 to 5.
And what is the 4 and what do the 4 and 10 look like?
20% and 15. So
okay,
decent drop.
Okay. I have to play a couple doubles to my 3 in the next race, just because. No, I'm down to the 8 here.
And who in the next?
That was the 3 NZ.
You're live to 8-3.
I am alive to the 8-3, but my B's here. I'm dead.
Right. So who do you have in the next race? If the 8 wins, I mean.
Yeah, if the 8 wins, I have 3, 4, 6.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then I had the 1, 7, 3 here as B's, and so then if they win, I'm drawing dead. So, all right, and then should we talk about race 6 for a minute? Who did?
Yeah, that was the scratches, right? So,
right. The scratch race. So this is down to 6.
To me, was a big upgrade on the 10 we talked about. Barishnikov definitely could be on the lead alone, and then
that was the West Coast.
The 3 is West Coast. Sorry, yeah. I'm 3-10 there.
Okay. And I'm just trying to see what else. 2. Yeah, it looks like maiden 7,500, so it's not the toughest bunch. Did you like the 6 at all?
A little. It was my 3rd pick, so to speak. I'd say 3-10 or my tier above.
Okay.
Shap picked the 6.
I might go 6-10 or 10-6. Maybe I'll do a little pick 3 action here. I haven't been able to do my Superfectas because we've got shorter fields so far.
Right. Super. Oh, they don't roll the high 5s at Turfway. Right. So
high 5s are so tough. It's like I would say it's addicting, but it's not, because you never hit them. They're really tough to hit, right?
You never get the juice.
But I looked at my stats for Turfway. My number 1 ROI bet is a Superfecta. So I got to keep it going.
Yeah, no.
But I only do it in the bigger fields, and I like to put
of course
closers and long shots in 3rd and 4th, and trying to pick these 7-horse fields. It's not going to pay anything anyway, so it's not really worth it. But maybe we got a couple later, so that would be a little opportunity.
The 8th and 9th, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and we'll see how fair the track is.
I definitely nothing makes my heart sing more than after a full day of getting my brains beaten in, logging on to Slack and seeing that you bailed out in the last
in the last race.
The last race.
Likewise, it's great. If see when you catch them. Yeah, if at least if you don't win, you want one of your friends to win.
Absolutely.
That's a great thing about this game. It's great if you don't win.
What about? I feel like every horse player group has to have the one friend that is secretly rooting against, though.
Well, that's a question for everybody. Do you all play the races with friends in like text chats and text groups where you're like, hey, this is what I'm doing. Here's my pick four, and that kind of thing. And I know you do, I do, or on Discord or different things like that.
I've definitely, through all the machinations of what to do, like let's combine picks, let's, 4 guys each take a race and play a pick 4.
Mm-hmm.
The thing I'm most comfortable with, I found, is make your ticket and I'll buy in.
Yeah.
And I'll make mine and we can buy in or swap. I found that the combining and trying to please everybody, like
right,
that's the biggest recipe for disaster. Not that it can't work or hasn't worked.
right.
Or sometimes it makes sense. Like, oh, we both really like this horse. Let's figure out how to build around that. Like, then it's okay. But to me, when you're like forcing a single so you agree, or lopping off horses that someone wants to use, that you just get into trouble.
More like here's my ticket, and you guys you could play it or adjust it, or
I personally never share a ticket unless I not expect.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm soliciting, hey, you guys want to sweat, I'll share the ticket beforehand. Otherwise, it's, I'm playing the whatever, here's who I like.
Yeah.
And then if I'm live, I'll ask for a route. Like, hey, guys, I got something going. Cheer me on.
That's cool.
But I'm never ahead of time saying, hey, here's my ticket, without being open to sharing the love.
Yeah.
That's me.
All right. All right. Oh, there's Scott's pick 6 tickets.
Wow, you didn't use your single here.
No. Well, what are you going to do? Yeah, but he has the 6 in race 6 that we were talking about. Okay. So Irene was asking about the super high 5, and I have played super high 5s. I have hit them. I would say it's like, I don't know what the strategy is. It's like one, you need a decent amount of capital. I mean, you could play it for like $16 if you have like something very specific, but I generally only like to play super high 5s in a 7, 8, or 9 horse field. And I think it works really well if you can eliminate horses. So if you think there's a fast pace and there's a couple, cheap pace horses, and you can throw them out and you can get down to, 6 or 7 or even 6, then you can start working around it. Mm-hmm. And then my advice would be is you want to find a long shot that you can work around. I love playing, like I said, the long shot closers that are going to come up at the end. They're going to run, 3rd or 4th or 5th. I'll key them in 4th in the super, key it in 5th in the super high 5, and it kind of keeps your cost down. Maybe put it in, flip it into 3rd in the super, and so you can do some things like that. But I mean, the super high 5, it's just tough. I mean, I think you can play it when you're up and you want some money, and you're like, oh, I'll take a shot, try to press, but it's just a really good way to light your money on fire. So, you just kind of have to be really calculated.
One of the biggest issues for me with it is like the super is 10 cents, and then the super high 5 is 50 cents or $1.
Right.
So
that's my problem.
In your head, like, okay, an extra leg. Like when you look at the pick 4, that's 50 cents, and maybe you want to play a pick 5, or like, it's another leg, but it's still, you kind of can wrap your head around the 50-cent mentality. And then when you get to the pick 6, and that's 20 cents at some tracks, like occasionally that might even be cheaper than a pick 5 if you're only 1 or 2 deep in the extra leg.
Right.
Whereas with the super high 5, like 50 cents versus a dime is a huge multiplier.
Yeah.
And an extra leg. So like just psychologically when I'm mapping it out, I very rarely get there as something I want to play.
I don't like playing them for $1. I do prefer playing them for 50 cents. I think it's a lot easier to get to where you want to be. I guess the way I would say is what I'm doing when I'm using these long shot closers. So let's just talk about a Superfecta because it's easier. If you have a 30-1 shot, and my theory is, you have a 10 horse race, the closers don't finish 10th. They run at the end and pass horses. So they tend to finish 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. Most people, when they play supers and super high 5s, the hard part is they're saying, well, any horse can run 4th. and that's where the ticket cost goes up.
Right.
And I think what I try to do is solve for that first. And I only play it if I solve for that. So if I solve for the 30 to 1 that runs fourth, and that's a maybe, all of a sudden your ticket, instead of having 8 in fourth, you have 1 horse in fourth. So your ticket costs 1/8. And the other thing you have to remember is if you have a 30 to 1 that runs fourth, the ticket never pays nothing. It always pays kind of good. And so then if you can work sort of backwards and build first, second, and third, so like, let's say you have 2 horses to win, 3 or 4 horses for second, you can use 4, 5, or 6, 7 in third because it won't cost that much if you have 1 in third, fourth.
Right.
And then you can flip third and fourth and put in case the horse runs third. And for a dime, you can do that. And I've hit some really good ones where the supers even paid like $800 for a dime.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think I hit one was more than $1,000 for a dime.
And that's where you talked about like in the big fields, and it's such a difference. Obviously the amount of combinations, so it makes sense, but so many people, like to your point, anyone can run fourth, and they're using all 12 horses or all 9 that are left, since you have the top 3. And it's just inefficient, and that adds up in big pools, all that inefficiency.
Right. Yeah.
And when you're able to narrow, it's great.
It is, and to your point, like the differences between pick 4, 5, 6, or the super and the high 5 is to go to the high 5, to go from a dime to $1, you're 10x, and then you're adding an extra leg in that you're going to probably need, let's say, at least 5 horses in. So it's 50 times more expensive to make that bet. So that's why I don't really like to do it much. I mean, I might play a super high 5 once every 2 weeks, something that just really, like, I would like give you an example, like in the Pegasus, never even attempt something like that. Because even if you pick the winner, to pick the next 2 is tough, much less the next 4.
Right.
It's just, to play it appropriately, I think you would need hundreds of dollars. And like,
now I will say in Florida, they roll the high 5.
Yeah.
And occasionally, and shout out Travis Stone, happy belated birthday. Yesterday, happy birthday. Justin Dew is today. Sure, countless others. Anyway, I digress. Travis, he plays similarly to you with the super and super high 5, and I always look if it doesn't get hit in the last race at Gulfstream, because it carries over to the race 1 the next day.
Right.
And typically the first race isn't your most voluminous.
Yeah,
in terms of the entry
Small
box,
fields.
But you get this carryover, and that's where it can be fun to take a shot, and the group text.
Yeah.
We can all get involved for a few bucks, and hopefully.
And I will tell you, I have tried some of the 7-horse supers at Gulfstream, 7-horse races. It's a little bit too small. I think maybe you need probably 8, and then, or if the favorite wins, like, you can get burned and you can hit it and it pays really nothing. But yeah, I will play those a lot of times. If there's 2 30 to 1s and I think that I like them, I'll single them in 5th and then super high 5. But you just have to a lot of things have to line up to play that bet. So anyway.
Rarely do they line up for me.
All right. Well, Travis and I will have to lean on you to.
I love throwing in with Travis, and I mean I know he plays it too, so it's comfort level. He kind of he gets it.
A lot of times we'll get on the phone and we'll talk through like the Derby, not the Derby, but more like the Preakness. And Preakness is a good one. Like a lot of times you'll have 8 horses, 9 horses, or the Belmont, and like you can smash that thing depending, because that's a race where you can legitimately hit the exacta and then just start building down.
Right.
It's a little bit different. But all right.
Whereas the Derby.
Yeah, Derby is just impossible. I did hit for some friends the super high 5 with Justify. And that was fun because Justify was a big favorite. He was 8 to 5.
Right.
Good Magic was second, right? 5 to 1. Audible, third, 8 to 1. And then it was the Superfecta. And the 4th was in still regarded 88 to 1. And we had about six people in on it. It paid like $19,000.
Right. Yeah, it paid.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So it was the payoff made me think it was a super high 5. It was like
and that's the Derby's one of the final frontiers in that regard, where they're actually the retail money just can't be swallowed up. Like the algorithms that the pools are so big and so many people box 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 horses.
Yeah.
And that's where an instilled regard, even in fourth, where, okay, maybe the next level of sophistication is, well, I'm not going to box horses. I'm going to do the pyramid.
Right.
And even then, like, okay, do you get to instilled regard in fourth? Maybe. But anyone who boxed, that their top X choices is very unlikely to get to that one. Right. And it paid off. And I mean, that was, by no means am I going to say I like the horse, but I didn't think he was the 20th worst in the field.
Yeah.
Certainly to hit fourth, especially.
Well, yeah, I think he'd run third to Justify in the San Diego Derby or fourth.
Yeah.
So, and not that far back. So I was like, well, if Justify wins, we got to include this horse.
Right.
So
I did the same with Tis the Bomb and Rich Strike.
Yeah. And it's just
I wish.
not the right order. Tis the Bomb and Rich. Oh, yeah. Tis the Bomb didn't. He was what, 16th?
No, like 11th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Don't want to give him his credit.
Gelded now.
Yeah. For good reason.
Yeah. Probably earned. Yeah. Various.
Yeah. Well, hit it a bomb. Sometimes get some synthetic horses.
Yeah.
We haven't seen too many here at this meet. But, all right. Looking at, I need the 8. And do you need to, did you start a pick 3 or?
I'm thinking I'm probably going to go back to the verticals, even though the mighty whiff, but maybe not. I mean, my 2 A's are 5-2. I'm not sure I have an actual opinion here.
Yeah.
Did you like the 4? That was Shap's long shot.
Yeah, I did. Let's see. No, I was 8, and then I did 1, 3, 7 were my B's, and this 3 was the Majestic Harbor Sire horse that I was talking about. That's the Sire's 0 for 29 on synthetic routes. But this horse, he's knocking on the door. I thought the 1 was interesting. 12-1 morning line, 7-1 here. They're kind of coming out of the same race. The 1, 7, and 8, I think, are coming out of the same race. Where Electrostatic won on December 30th. And I watched the replay, and I thought the 8 had the toughest trip. I thought he went wide, circled horses, and had the most at the end. But, depending how things shape up, I thought the 1 might be worth another shot here. The other thing I would look for on the charts, especially on these routes at Turfway, if you're looking at is the outside post. So they came out of the same race. The 11 the 7 Broken Justice was in post 11. So he did have a wide trip somewhat. The 8 Sailor's Chance was in post 6, but he, like I said, circled the field with 7 wide coming for home. So I think their trips were actually sort of tough last time. So I think they won't hopefully get tougher. They can only get better. And I think the 1 he broke out of post 8, so he had a moderate trip, but he could sit on the rail there. So I don't think the 1 is without a shot.
It's an interesting thing you mentioned on trip. It was last week, 2 weeks ago. Nico was talking about, he's a big trip notes guy, replay work, things like that. And he was saying sort of more like in the reverse. But, Turfway, like you get this great trip. Yeah, that can move you up. But it's Turfway. And especially dealing with full field races, like getting a good trip twice in a row is no gimme.
No.
Which isn't to say it can't happen, but it's in his mind, it's definitely a downgrade if you had a good trip. Next out, okay, you can't bank on that, so make sure you take the horse on its merits.
I love that. Like you're basically saying roll the dice. If a horse got a good trip, more than likely the figure goes down because he's not going to
exactly.
this time. Odds are no.
as you said it too, the reverse is true. Like, okay, like wasn't a great trip and might happen again, but if it doesn't, they did get a good trip.
Yeah.
Be in good shape.
All right, we're going into the gate here. Starting to. Yeah, it looks like it's getting foggy there. You all right?
Yeah.
I might do a small double if I have time. Do I have time to get my double in?
Tony's on the 4-8.
So I was 1, 7, 4. Ooh, I gotta hurry. Oh, they're off. All right. Good luck, everybody. And looks like we got 5-8. So Ghost Bike on the lead. And yeah, I don't know if I like my 8 out there. I guess he's trying to stay wide of him and stay close to the front, which probably makes sense.
Type 1 had the 5 up there, but
yeah,
not the 8.
Like this one. So I think the one, look at the trip on the 1. I think this is the trip that you want at Turfway. Sitting in the second flight, third, fourth on the rail, and just wait. And just, just kind of watching everything. And so, you kind of have to hope that the 5 and 8, duel each other or they're not good enough or whatever. But I feel like more times than not, that's the trip you want. It's looking really splashy there. Yeah, I don't really love this spot for the 8, so I'm going to have to hope that he's much the best.
I was going to say, if you're the best, you're...
Well, they're on 50, so that's not going to help the closers. The Ghost Bike. Is that like Ghost Rider? Yeah, and the 5 is not done.
You're being scrubbed and no response.
Don't tell me this is Bomb City here. Yeah, the 8's in a really bad spot. He can't get by the 5, and my 8's done. Thank you for playing. But now the 5's getting a little tired. Who's coming? The 6? No one. The Ghost Bike. Another. Okay, so now we got another wire to wire. 50 and 115. All right. 4 or 5?
4. Not for me.
Oh boy. 20 to 1. Big price.
Wow.
Yeah. On the wrong lead says get some bookers. Stat.
I am happy to say I laid off that race.
I did too, actually.
I was wrong, so I'm unhappy for the poor opinion.
Yeah.
But in an 8-horse field, the 2 I liked were the 2 shortest prices, so I just didn't feel like I was going to miss out on anything.
Yeah.
But watch out for this late pick 5.
Yeah? You think it's going to blow up now? Could get ugly?
OTWL was on the 5 there.
All right. Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, he had 5 and 7. Very nice. Yeah, I mean, this horse was, kind of projected to be out on the lead. We've seen horses doing well up front. And I think the other difference, this horse is, this is kind of like the 6 horse I liked in the first is, which also was Fair and Peterson, is this horse went too fast last time, kind of slowed down the lane, and now it got the foot trip. It went slow early.
Right.
And had plenty.
No, I mean, I was with you. Like, I didn't love the spot. Like, that's how I would have drawn it up for the 8. But, I mean, time form projected the 6 would be there with the 5. That didn't happen. So I don't mind that, okay, you're on the shortest price. Like, get into the race. But asking the question and then going to the crop at the quarter pole when the 20 to 1 isn't moving a muscle.
Right.
And Farron, man, she's brought home some really big prices.
She's riding well.
Really big prices.
She's also riding well. One particular harbor, so Majestic Harbor, won 0 for 30.
You were wondering
And
about
on
second.
Exactly. Machado.
Any other sire would have gotten the dub.
Yeah, but no, that was a good race on the 5, and I think I was, like you said, I was kind of counting on the 6 going to lead. The 6 was coming out of sprints, and if we knew that the 6 wasn't going to go there at all, and the 5 was going to start the race, by itself, yeah, you would upgrade it. So, and who was on the 8? So that was Morales. I mean, he probably did the right thing on the 8, which was recognized what was going on.
Right.
That was what you were talking about earlier. And so if you look at the PPs on the 8, I mean, this is a dead closer. So he was asking this 8 to do something that he doesn't normally do, just run up on the pace. So I don't think it's crazy that, it was completely out of its game. Kind of what we were saying. I like that he at least didn't take it laying down. He fired his shot.
Right. And let's say
because none of these others fired their shot, right? They just let the 5 wire and they just
correct
ran at the end.
Yeah. I mean, let's say outside post, expecting 5 and 6 are going to go after it. I'll lie last or back of the pack, and then we get a fast closing second, and then we're vetching about that.
Right.
Oh, who's he doing behind that? So
right.
But I mean, gave himself the best chance to win, and ended up nowhere. Yeah. So, but again, like that's something to maybe next time out, not holding against him. Mm-hmm. Things could conspire better.
There's the dime super, $664. Cherry should have played that one.
Not too bad. Yeah, I had both in the mix.
Yeah. That is the strong trifecta, 50-cent try, $320. Very nice. I imagine now we've got some pick 5 will pays that are decent coming up.
Yeah, probably some.
Let's see. And double $75. Pick 3, 211 for 50 cents. So once again, some very big payoffs at Turfway. Yeah, and I think now this is. Would you agree that after these 4 races, now this is the track? I still think it could be. It's still looking a little more front, but I think you can still close on it. But I think the races we've seen and the prices, I think it gets in the heads of the riders, maybe even the trainers, say like you need to stay close. And so I think that's still
that'd be in my head.
Yeah. So as we get to the bigger fields later, I think that's what we got to keep in mind is these were shorter fields. Get to the bigger fields, it still could flip a little bit, or we could see a couple closers.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I mean with the bigger fields too, especially that sort of completely changes the dynamic.
Yeah. Yeah, that kind of solves for everything. I mean, that's why I like playing bigger fields because you play 6 and 7 horse fields, and then some horse jumps out that you don't see, and you watch the field, and you're out. And so,
not a good feeling.
Yeah. I mean, that's what's so great about the big fields at Turfway. All right, what do we got for pick 5s? Much better to be alive than not. Coming up. Okay, so lowest we'll pay with the Brad Cox is $1,250. The 4 is $3,700, and then everything else is pretty big, $6,000.
And they're all covered.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. There's the 2 horses, $126,000. Which is not bad. Pool is $197,000. So
not too bad.
I need to root for the 3 so I can get the 4 or 5 a few times.
Right.
So
what's the 5 of 5 paying?
18 grand.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
what's the
time?
$150.
Yeah, I usually do 5%. I mean, that's a total guess, but yeah, 90 in this case.
$90. Yeah. All right, I'll take it.
Yeah,
if I could get
a
that.
few times.
Yeah, but the 6 would not pay much.
Right.
That's the old 4 or 5, and you get $14,
Right.
more or less. All right.
Happens a lot more at Keeneland that way.
Yeah. On the Wrong Lead says horse's best races were all in the lead. Drawn inside. All the other speed, last race pit. Yeah. I mean, absolutely. Good, really good play. 20-1.
Really good. And another, I mean, I guess some eager moments going into the far turn just because at 20-1, you're like, okay, is this horse going to fold it up? But I mean, the 8 was
The answer was
toast.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at the 8. Wow. Just completely dropped back of the field. He said he did not have the 3, so I guess he was planning to try.
Hopefully it wasn't because of that stat.
Hopefully not. All right, 6 to 5.
What about my pin?
Yeah, I love the Kentucky Derby. Who doesn't?
That trainer, the Pasco winner.
Oh, really? He's not going? The gelding?
They're going to Saudi, I think.
Okay.
Said the Derby's overrated.
Did he?
Yeah.
That's funny. All right. Each his own.
I mean, it can't be underrated because it's number 1.
Okay.
So,
all right.
I mean, I would say it's rated correctly, but
there you go.
Anyway, thank
right.
you to my Operation Gift Horse.
All right.
That was one of the gifts. So,
oh, nice.
The other was a ladies' Breeders' Cup scarf, so I did not wear that.
Oh, next time. Maybe when it's colder. All right, we got a pick 5 with 47,000 in the pool and a tough track.
A tough track, yeah.
That's a tough recipe.
I would say, man, 7 to like. If you think the Cox has a chance to run like we just saw, and we just saw saw earlier in the second race, I would say single, because we've seen horses win with the way time form projects this horse can run.
Okay.
But if you just can't stomach 7 to 5, which is a perfectly okay thought, and I'm running it through my head as well, you got to chuck completely, right? I mean, from way I played the pick 5 going into it is I did use 3, but now with all, we have 4 races of information and we have, pick 5 that's a little different here. I think it's a single or toss. Like there's no reason to, like, you have to have an opinion on this one, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards toss now, but
I'm leaning towards single.
Oh, all right.
I mean, like you said, it gets in jockey and trainers' heads. Maybe it's in the handicapper's head too.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, it's just clear as day. I'm seeing this unfold where,
right.
And with Cox, you get the rebreak opportunity. So even if they're at his throat at the 8th pole, you're still in the game.
Okay, so but I would say where the reason I said that, and maybe is there another? Oh, the 7 scratched. So we lost another horse here. Vicky Oliver. My thought was that these are maidens. They're going a mile 16, and they've never won, so the jocks are going to be very willing to try something, right? And I think based on what they're seeing, they could just send. So if we get anybody, I'm just saying, like, I don't think it'll take that much other speed going with the Cox horse to put it in a bad spot.
Right.
So I guess the question is, who is that? Is there a horse? Can this 2 show speed? It had some fast-ish works and then did not run well in a sprint. December 20th comes back. It's a decent work for Jeff Greenhill, who is not known for first-time starters. Much better second time out. I don't know.
Greenhill's won a few.
Well, I think at this point, I'm just looking for who's the sacrificial lamb, right, to go after the 6. Is there one? Is there a horse to go with it? Because
3-2.
yeah. Now the other option you could do is, just go play the pick 4, right? So just go 1 or 2 deep in the pick 5
right
here.
So this is well, he's 9-5 win odds. They are very close in the doubles.
The 4 and the 6.
4 and the 6.
Yeah, I think the 4 has some good numbers and fits here in a couple different ways.
Well, subtext though.
Yeah,
this is really in the weeds, but I dig it. So the imputed odds, which just takes into account the winner of the last. So with the 5, the will pay with the 6 and 4, very close. Not 9-5 and 2-1.
Yeah.
But if just looking at the amount of money bet into the pool that started in race 4, 6 the big favorite.
Yeah.
So with the long shot, I guess people use both, or who knows.
Okay.
But clear favorite if looking at the whole pool, whatever that's worth. So
I don't know. What is that worth?
Well, to me, what's interesting about that is the general public is going to see the will pays and think, oh, they're going to be co-favored.
Mm-hmm.
But based on the money bet in the whole pool, the 6 is going to be the overwhelming favorite.
Right.
So in my mind, that leans toward a single of the 6.
All right, because you're going to go
because people constructing tickets are going to look at the double will pays,
and they're going to use both,
and they'll use both.
Yeah, and I think the 4 has a lot going for it. So I think there's good reason for people to use the 4. But all right, so you're going with the wisdom of the crowds and the theory that people are going to use both. There you go, 4-6-4-6, Scott and Caitlin.
Well, that's even more in the bank for the 6 for me then.
Yeah. So you're basically saying you get twice the price because
now
people are splitting.
The 10, who's 3-1 morning line, the double odds are around 6-1. So that'd be like if I end up doing an A or B situation, I would keep the 10 as a B. But I think given this board, you want to take a stand on one of the chalks. We know who Caitlin and Scott like. I think I'm going to go with the Cox.
All right. I am going to use my 3 in Superfectas. How about that? And try.
Oh, you got to.
Yeah. I think that'll
What's
work.
Its name?
NZ.
NZ.
Yeah. A late runner on the inside.
It's not to like.
Work. Yeah, that'll work.
Jane Elliott?
No, I don't think so. Who do we got here? Ashton. Who's that?
Oh, Gavin?
Gavin.
Yeah, he's all right.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's one here. No speed from the gate. Late run to improve last time. Closed from 12th to 5th. Gets an extra 16th of a mile. And an 8-20-1. Just got to hit the board. I should do that. I should do that instead of pick 5. Although I've done all right with the pick 5s, but
do both.
Do both. All right.
My mantra is no bash in Ashton.
Really?
Yep.
And why?
Served me well. He's won some races at decent prices.
Yeah. All right. Who did you have in races?
Carroll getting beat in the lid lifter, though. I'm less accepting of that.
All right. Do you want to throw up your grid so we can look at your plays for the late?
Some might say the grid makes you throw up.
It might. So we just
hide this chat here. If I can find which one it is. There we go. All right. So here's the grid. Now this was made before the first race, so I had 4, 6, 10 because those were the 3 I used in my pick 5. But given what we've just discussed and where we expect the board to be based on doubles, etc., I'd make the 6 my lone A. Even over the top pick, the 4. I just think the way this is getting bet, I'd rather lean on the 6. And then I'm fairly narrow in the A column. And again, my thought for tonight was, those are the horses I want to use. and as things come up, look at the B's and see which ones are huge prices. Maybe definitely like looking at exactas with my A's, things like that. But from an A perspective, I guess it's only, what is that, 9.18? It's $36, even to use the 4 and 10. So Turfway pays well enough. Like, why not for $36? But I will say, what did you think of the 7 and the 7? That was one that I had as maybe the
I don't
possible upgrade in that one.
I don't really love the stretch out. You're talking about Magna Ruler.
Yeah.
Yeah. John McKee Dominus. It doesn't really do much for me.
Yeah. Right.
So,
can adjust accordingly.
That's like kind of a weak heat there. So you got 6-8. There's not a lot in this race.
And that's another. Well, the 4 and 7 in that race, who I do not have in the A column, either could make the lead. So that was kind of in my head, like why I was thinking.
The Lobo. Yeah, based on the way the track's playing, this horse resembles the winner of the last a little bit. Went out way too hard and then just stopped. But he's got races on this track last year that fit. So Royal Vicky, 12-1 on the morning line. Let's see what else. If we got any Sire moves, there's a little bit of a Sire move on the 3 and the 10 there.
In which race?
Race 7.
Oh,
not not massive, but a little bit. 8 minutes to race 5. All right, I got 8 minutes to finish up. Any bombs? Anything really spicy like in the last 2?
Nah, I guess with 6 horses in the B column, one of those is going to be a price, but none I'm excited about.
All right.
And again, like a lot. I've been putting a grid up, 15 years now, and I still get like, oh, you use all those horses, or man, your ticket must have been $800. And no, I don't use them all, but in my head, and you kind of see it with fair odds, like there's just horses that I recognize I want to keep tabs on. Mm-hmm. So that's more how I kind of approach the B column.
So as you're looking at pick 3 later, you're like, oh, that was 1. Do I want to?
Exactly. And then, see the morning line, like, oh, yeah, 20-1. Like it didn't work for me in a pick 5.
Right.
But
it's in your range of outcomes. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a possibility. And no, that's a good way to think about it, is you don't want to lose tabs on it because you get busy if it's whatever.
And, just the way that the game has evolved. And I definitely use our AI line as well to try to get a handle on how these races are being bet. Mm-hmm. But I've definitely been burned or felt like I've been burned, like using the morning line to put horses on the grid. Mm-hmm. And there's, this horse is 4-1 and I'm already 3 deep in the B column. I'm not using this horse at 4-1 under any circumstance. Right. And then they're 8-1 and they win. And I feel like, okay, I'm not going to tell myself that, they were never going to be an A. Right. So not like I cost myself a moonshot, but there are definitely times I've used 4 or 5 horses and just forgot about that one because of the morning line. So I'm saying that more as that's a mistake I feel I've learned from. It's not an excuse. Yeah. It was an excuse at the time, but then I turned it into a learnable moment.
All right. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, because you get busy or you're alive in something, then you're not alive and you kind of lose track of stuff like that. And I like it. That makes sense.
Lou feels they have the right chalk. That's a tough thing with, I think, especially with favorites with this kind of connections. Mm-hmm. Like, definitely feel foolish leaning on them and they stink. It's like, what was I doing? But then at the same time, I've been 5 deep either with them or against them. and
You
they
mean the
they
Brad-
run off the screen, and then you feel foolish then too. So
You're talking about the Brad Cox
yeah,
conditions?
or I mean, like at fairgrounds, maybe it's an Asmussen or a
Right.
Chad Brown turf horse. Like plenty of it happens all the time.
Right.
Like these horses can make you feel foolish by winning or losing, and that's to me is why put yourself through the misery, either single or don't. Because if you're deep and they win, you don't feel good.
Right.
Like going 5 deep to catch a 6-5,
Right.
whatever. And at the same token, if you take your stand against for whatever reason and get beat,
Right. Yeah. All right. And then race.
yeah, I'm gonna just single. The pick 5s are good enough here that for that small a ticket, if it connects, it's gonna pay more than 6-5. So
Yeah.
which you still want to be compensated for the other risks, but
Right.
you get what I'm saying.
Right. And who are your A's in race 8?
7-11. The pass line.
Charger. All right. The pass line. Got it. Yeah, I mean, these are tough though. I mean, like race 7's tough to get through. Maybe race 6 isn't the worst because it's not that deep, but yeah, race 8, we could be looking at a big pace. We could be looking at some closers. That might be the time.
I think another thing that's interesting with all the scratches in race 6, the morning line becomes totally obsolete.
Right.
And I'm like, my first iteration through this, I think I had 5 of the however many are left, 6 that are left. No, that's not right. I had 4 of the 7 that are left. It's like that to me feels like a race a lot of people are going to spread because they're going to see bigger prices and get sucked in.
Right.
So I'm consciously trying to be narrow there.
Right. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna still try closers race 8 because I think that's where you're gonna get your price, and so I gotta do it. Super explosive, a gun runner, maybe. You didn't use the 10, or is it 10 one of your Bs?
In the 8th,
Yeah,
did not use.
yeah, and that 11 looks pretty good too. So. All right. 2 minutes. All right. I'm going to stick with my 3 as in the Superfecta. I almost said the 5, but I think 3 is the closer, 21-1. All right. And who are your A's in race 9? We got
7-12.
All right. Lindsay. Yeah, Ian Wilkes, that makes sense. Yeah, these big fields are just so tough.
Wow, odds on now. Now we're getting into territorial.
Well, see, that's why people are thinking like speed, and this horse has got speed. It's Brad Cox, right? So it's like all of a sudden, it starts getting killed. Slammed. All right, I want to put something.
Tonight, the night Summer Pauly gets it done.
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to finish on this track, and I think I don't know if bug grinders maybe on the front end. Yeah, I mean that would be the way to do it. All right, so Superfecta wise, that's the nice thing is I can use the 4 and the 6. I don't have to worry too much. So I can use the 10 as well. And I'm even going to use, I think I might use this 9 in the Superfecta as well, 25-1. Kind of key both of those. Yep. So try to hit a big one here and see if the Brad Cox runs out, like the Superfecta could be huge.
Right.
So I might play like 1 a little wide just to kind of see what happens. And then what I do is I kind of get narrower. So, some of the bigger prices I'll have like sort of like everybody in third, and then I kind of like tighten it up a little bit.
We got some super players in here.
All right.
Grows it well.
I mean, they're cheap, right? So it's like you can get those things down for not a lot of money.
None. I think, for action players, weekend warrior types, just recreational gamblers, I definitely like Turfway so great because with the field sizes, especially, like you can, to me, play around with very logical outcomes that, okay, as you're building your ticket, not going to make a ton of money.
Yeah.
But you get some back, kind of like a slot machine, play for a while.
Right.
But if you hit the right combination of what you play, you really blow things up. And in the long run, a pro doesn't approach it that way because they're not looking to play negative expectation bets. But for action, Turfway, I mean, I don't think it gets any better.
Yeah, it's awesome. All right, so we got the
Brad did not make the lead.
Yeah, the 6 rating in third. The 5 went out, and then the 1 ended up going out, grabbing the lead in the rail. So, and probably should think about the rail too, because you'd said that earlier. Maybe the inside horses are doing a little bit better on this. We've kind of had the pair of like the 2 on the lead.
No, I haven't seen an outside move.
I mean, the 4 to 5 spot, the spot the 6 is in has not been the spot to be tonight.
No.
So I would say, that's not a good spot. 5's got a little bit of horse. He's got to contend with that. Now he's going wide. Somebody's circling him from the outside. We'll see. It looks like the 2's in a decent spot, but no, he's out of horse.
I was going to say it. I kind of felt like Axel was race riding the 2 a little bit, like waiting to keep him in. It's not going to work out for him, though.
4's got horse. He can't get out. Here's my 3. Come on, 3. Let's get out with this 3. And he's got horse. The 9's got horse. I would actually have a Superfecta with a 3 and the 9, but I don't have him winning. Oh, no.
4 or 5?
4 or 5 several times. I'll take that.
Wow. Yeah. What a pick, sort of, I guess, since you didn't have him winning in the Super, but man, too bad you couldn't get live.
Yeah, that's frustrating. Yeah. I should have 4 or 5 a bunch of times, but wow. And I didn't play the pick 5. I played the supers instead. 3, 9. I played the 3 and 9 as my super keys, and they ran 1, 2. So that is not how to play this.
It's going to be a huge exacta. Now, in that situation, like you never do. You don't.
No, I didn't see that. Not in that way, which is annoying. But I probably should have played the 3. Oh, what's really annoying is I keyed them in second. The 3. Look at that ticket with the 3, 9 in second. But I just went 4, 6, 10 on top all the way through.
3, 9. Is that the 2? And
wow, I wouldn't have had the 2. So there you go.
Dang,
that's frustrating because I didn't restart a pick 5 with the 3 with the Gavin. But wow, so what was the this was 18,
holy cow,
18,000 on the pick 5, right? Yeah, 18,000. Wow. If anybody had that.
What's the exacta?
4th? No, it's probably $600.
I would say $850.
3, 9, $800. Yeah, $778. So we're like, whew. Prices almost.
Not me, and my show parlay's dead.
Well, all right. So we've been kind of waffling. I've been waffling about this closers, not closers. And that's kind of what I thought would happen at some point, right? Is the jocks start all sending, and now you get closers running.
I mean, did they? The horse I expected to be on the lead wasn't.
Who's that?
Befriended.
Oh, right. But that's what I'm saying. These were maidens. I think they wanted to try stuff. You know, the 5 and the 2 were pretty lightly raced. I mean, the 5. I mean, he's raced 4 times. You wouldn't expect it to go. Well, Jane Elliott sent it. You know, she sends a lot of horses. I mean, I think to me, once the 5, you know, you're talking about your 20 seconds. Once the 5 grabbed the lead from the 6 and he had to rate, I thought the 6 was in a bad spot.
Right.
Once the 1 came up the inside and had horse, and the 6 was in third, he was toast in my mind. I mean, he was like 8-1 at that point.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And so then it's a question of like, who's sitting back, who's going to get a trip, and who's got horse. And obviously, these 3 horses had horse because the 6 had a little run. I mean, he wasn't done.
No, we got the re-rally.
Yeah, the re-rally.
Yeah, that was the one part of it that
Brad gets 2 runs.
You know, I would say the only thing I feel good about there from a wagering standpoint is, you know, it's like, okay, at 4 to 5, either I have to use or spread against, and what I would have spread with wouldn't have gotten there either. So,
all right, so now I have to re-ask with my 4 or 5 here. So we had 9 to 5, almost 5 to 2, $6.80, $10 horse, and then we had a 20 to 1 and a 24 to 1. So still $90 on the pick 4 or 5, you think? Is that what you were saying?
yeah, I mean, I just use
that's your
the 5%. Yeah.
Okay.
Or I guess it's 0.5%, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right.
Yeah, just it's kind of a correlation I've noticed, but
right. Yeah, because I mean, the 4 or 5s are annoying. We've gone back and forth on it, right? When you hit it, and then it's like, oh, it could have paid better without these dumb 4 or 5s. But then, in like this case, it's like, okay, I missed it. It pays, you know, 10,000 or more, and it's like, okay, if I could get a bunch of 4 or 5s, that would be nice. Right?
Did you have anything with the 2?
No 2s for me.
So 6. Yeah, so it saved you some heartache, I guess.
It's on the super, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
the super is going to be great. Like the super is going to be $8,000 or something
For a dime?
Yeah, because there's just very few. Maybe like 4 tickets. And the thing on the dime super is when you see these payoffs, you have to multiply times 10. So if this pays 8,000, it's really 80,000 to 1,
super,
which is like, you know, you're talking about not Powerball, but you're talking about like something really difficult.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you like some of these, it's not.
It's like me hitting a same game parlay.
Yeah. There you go. Oh, you know what? I might be in trouble on my 4 or 5s because I lost. I was 3 Bs, so that would be a really bummer. I think I might have missed.
No, Enzi was a B.
No, I made him an A, but
it's only 2 Bs, right?
oh
yeah, you burned your 1 off.
Yeah, that was a good pick. Good guess. Yeah, I think I went 3 Bs.
Yeah. Because you needed the 8 was your A
Yes.
after burning 2 Bs.
Yeah. Oh, that's a bummer.
Well,
that happens, but I didn't hit it anyway. So, all right.
You had the moderate thrill of thinking you were getting. You still psychologically, like,
exactly. So that going. Well, I did pick the 3, so that was something.
Yes.
But
no, you were.
That's always lots of fun. Have a nice $50 horse and not cash, but that's part of the game. Especially
when you're. I mean, you play that way. Shap picked the 9 third.
So John's asking about you don't understand how the A/B ticket works. That's a good question. Okay, so if you play, how would you explain it? If you play a ticket straight, what's the best way to explain it? Like with a double.
I mean, for me, that like AB is helpful just for bankroll consideration.
Right. So I'm just trying to explain it. So let's say you're playing a pick 3, and in each race you have 4 horses you like, but you want to split them into the 2 you like the most, and then the next 2 that would be like your B horses, right? Your 3rd and 4th choices. So if you just play the pick 3 straight, 4 times 4 times 4, you're paying full cost, if you will. You're paying 64 combinations, so $1 would be $64. And if it comes in, you only have it once, no matter what. So if it comes in with your 4th choice and your 4th choice and your 4th choice, that's good because you probably got, some 8-to-1, 10-to-1 types, and you got a nice payoff. But usually that doesn't happen. Usually logical horses, favorites win more than a third of the time. So usually if you figure you're able to pick, your top 2 horses can win at least one of those races or 2 of those races, then you can actually kind of split the ticket up and bet a little bit more. So what you do is you say, okay, if my top 2 choices win the first race, then I have these 4 and these 4 in second, but you might play that an extra time. And what you end up doing is if your 3rd and 4th choice win 3 races row, you don't have that ticket, but you have it more if your top choices win. Yeah. Does that make sense? I don't know if I explained it well, but
yeah, I mean, there's different reasons to do it. And sometimes I say, well, I'm going to ride or die with my top picks and it's all A's. But, when I look at the A's and B's, I'm definitely thinking, can I press certain combinations? And it just, and sometimes just using the horses you like makes sense. I just try to avoid that. I don't want, and at Turfway, it's not as much of an issue because prices come in, favorites don't win a lot, big fields, etc. But, I play Mahoning Valley, sometimes 6-7 horse fields. Chalk looks really good. I don't want to have 4 straight even money horses. Right. So that's where I'm, the Chinese menu method where it's like, well, who's the underlaid favorite that I'm going to try to beat?
Right.
And watching this race back and looking at the fractions, I have no idea why he didn't just go to the lead.
The 6?
Yeah. I mean, the 1 and 5 who he just let go were nowhere late.
Yeah. I would say, though, now that we're seeing, this is this open maiden at 50 and change, 115 and change, I think this track's just playing slower.
Sure.
And so that race might have been a little faster than, he might have been going at the appropriate speed. Based on the way the race played, it was too close. Yeah, no, I get it.
You're 4 to 5 and playing cat and mouse with.
Yeah, I would take it another way. I think the 5 cent, and I think, I don't know. This was a horse, was a speedball. They're trying to get a mile and a 16th with it. They take the blinkers off. They're trying to take it back. If it wasn't Brad Cox, this horse would have been 12 to 1. A lot of people, or I don't know
about that.
8 to 1.
Yeah, at 4 to 5, it was a bad bet. So I'll take my medicine there. But
I don't know. But 20 minutes ago, we were seeing wire to wire, every race, so it didn't look as bad, Anyway, well, thanks everybody for joining us. We'll be back
as always.
Weather permitting and schedules permitting next Wednesday to do it again. It's always great to get together and play some Turfway.
We maybe we'll have a carryover tomorrow.
Ooh,
we can watch instead of the Eclipse Awards.
All right. Looking forward to it.
Red carpet at 6:30.
And we got our votes in.
Who will you be wearing?
I'll be wearing. I was Cody's wish, so.
Oh. No, I meant your red carpet.
My red carpet. I'm going to Friday. I'm not going tomorrow.
Oh.
So, yeah. We try about, down at Pegasus.
Yeah.
So, all right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week.